Larisa. I'm here each and every week where I explore topics to help you elevate your mindset, be at your best, and radically expand your life and business. And today we're talking about trash talk and how you can turn this really low vibe problem into a high vibe solution. So, if you're a high achieving woman who has a beautiful life for the most part, and you might earn great income, live in a great house, you have great kids, but you've trash talked people in your life at some point or been trash talked about. Let's face it, we're all humans. If you're a human on this planet, it's happened at some point. Um, and instead of making it a bad thing, you want to turn it into something really constructive and turn it into an opportunity. That's what we're talking about today. So I know that some of you know me and some of you don't. I'm Larisa McCooch. I'm Master Results Coach and CEO of Abundance Academy, where we help professional women whose external results tell the world they're successful, but on the inside, they know they're destined for more. So I help them stop holding themselves back and go after their dreams so they can radically expand their income, love themselves, love their business, and create absolute magic in their lives. So I would love to know where you're coming in from. If you're tuning in by replay, type in replay in the chat. And if it's your first time, type in first time in the chat. So I do thank you for being here. I really, really in my heart do appreciate your presence. Now, when it comes to this whole world of trash talk, there is something that used to happen a lot in my childhood and in my cultural community, and it was gossiping. And I remember there was one day many years ago where I got caught up in the conversation, and I took part, and I just one thing led to another. And I remember myself saying some really unkind things. I'd heard other people say things, and I just started behaving and being like them. And I remember saying something really unkind about this one particular person. And I don't know if she ever found out, but I know walking away, I really felt awful. Like I was afraid of being found out. I feared the person might find out. I had tightness in my chest. My throat had a lump in it. Even now, as I think about it and talk about it, it's just my throat is getting so tight. And that moment, I had such an intense feeling of guilt, and I carried that moment around for so many years. And the thing is that that person may or may not have found out. She probably never even knew. She probably never even gave it any thought. But I remember recognizing that what I did in that moment was fundamentally wrong, right? I was diminishing her for the sake of looking better or being included in this other group. And that was just really incredibly uncool. Flash forward many years, I was at a seminar with Bob Proctor, one of my mentors, and he liked to share 3 steps that he learned from Reverend Michael Beckwith. And these are 3 steps that so many people that Bob practices, that his consultants practice, and that I really started to practice. But at first, when I heard these 3 steps, it was very different. Okay. And I had all these conversations going through my head. But the 3 steps are: when something bad happens, it is what it is, accept it. Step 2, harvest the good. And step 3, forgive all the rest. And when Bob said that, I got a little curious. However, when I heard other consultants talking about it in their social media, in their seminars, even at lunch at some of his events, this was something that was really prevalent. And I got more and more curious the more and more I heard about it. And I started really thinking about what that meant, right? It is what it is, accept it. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it wrong. The situation happened. Okay, it happened. You can't change it. You can't change the past. All you can do is control the present and move towards the future and make better choices in the future. Harvest the good. This one was really tricky for me because when bad things were happening, it's so easy to focus on all the bad things and all the people that did the bad things to you and how could they. And I used to be in such a state of blame. I used to blame so many people for my problems and I didn't take ownership over them. And so this really works with the law of polarity, because when something bad happens, it has an equal and opposite potential for something good. And whenever something bad happens, it's your opportunity and responsibility to find the good. Otherwise, you're just going to stay where you are and never move and never progress. And the third part was forgive all the rest. And when you really look at forgiveness, forgiveness is about you and it's not about the other person. And forgiveness is about letting go and letting go completely. This is a practice that I really studied after my father passed away. I mean, I've always loved to study and I've always studied business strategies and mindset strategies. But when my father passed away, it seemed very counterintuitive to study like excellence in that moment, because it was in a sad place, right? And for several months I couldn't go back to that yay positivity place. But I also knew that crying every single day. And I also knew that dwelling on the situation wouldn't change it and it wouldn't help me make the most of the situation and find the opportunities and the blessings in the situation. So I started to study forgiveness. I started forgiving other people. I really forgave myself for so many things. And that was such a beautiful opportunity I had to spend time in this energy of forgiveness. So I could do a whole talk on forgiveness another day. But essentially, forgiveness really is about you. It's not about the other person. Because when you can let things go, the other people, in so many cases, they're not even aware of it because they're so busy living their lives and focusing on other things, right? And so, three steps got me really, really curious as to initially what they were, and over time, as I studied them, how I could do them better. Now, a few weeks ago, I was actually publicly trash talked in someone's group, in someone's online group. And I mean, I know people have probably talked about me. I've talked about people in my past, but I've never actually, as far as I'm aware, been publicly defaced until this time. And so one of my friends saw this and screen captured it and sent it to me, and then I went back to check and it had been deleted, which is amazing. But I remember that someone was really upset about a situation that happened more than 15 years ago. And she was really looking at it just based on how she wrote it, solely at her perspective. And she really knew nothing about me. She knew nothing about my situation. She knew nothing about what had happened since that day. And she publicly stated this opinion. And I remember thinking, I'm like, if I ever did, I would never do something like this to someone else, because it wouldn't look good on me. It would look like I'm, crabs in a bucket trying to pull other people down as I'm attempting to lift others up. And really defacing someone doesn't elevate her position, right? And so I also felt really sad for her, because I realized that while the old me might have been upset, the new me, I was like, okay, sure, situations happened. However, I've grown so much. I've made a lot of mistakes and I've done so many incredible things. And I really, truly do feel proud of who I am and what I've accomplished and where I've come and where I've gotten to. Yet for her, I felt sad because clearly, based on that comment, she hasn't evolved and she has not grown to that same level. And so I was really thinking about it. I started harvesting all the good and this opportunity, right? Whereas I could have stayed stuck in it and dwelled on it for weeks or months like I would have done in the past. I was like, wow, I took a couple days and really looked at this blessing that I've had since that moment, and noticed the growth. And I forgave her. I sent love to her, because clearly I know she needs it. If she's putting this kind of negativity in the world, then she is looking for some kind of reconciliation, but she cannot find it. I actually did a quick reel about this and about trash talk a couple weeks ago. So, which is why we're talking about this today, because I had some incredible feedback in some of the comments and also in the DMs. People sent me some really great messages about this. So that's why we're talking about this today. Essentially, trash talking is a really low vibe thing to do. That's why we're talking about this, because everything is energy and it's critical we manage our energy because it directly correlates to the results you get. And while the term trash talking is not abundant, you can turn this unabundant or lack inabundant, not abundant, this not abundant opportunity into something that really truly can be a positive win-win-win. Okay. So I want you to just ask yourself, do you want to be like Teflon, where unfavorable situations come up and you bounce the bad stuff right off of you and doesn't bother you, to allow you to soak more of the good things in? Are you ready for trash talk to disappear and more positive and constructive and high vibe conversations to show up in your life? And do you really want to see your energy elevate to the energy of those um, that you totally respect and admire, and see the energy and presence of others in your world elevate as well? Because that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about a really high vibe solution to a low vibe problem. And when you start thinking about this, whenever you have problems or difficult situations, you want to start looking for positive and optimistic solutions. So when it comes to this word solution, right? Solution means the solving of a problem, right? Or dealing with a difficult situation. And we all, like, if you're a person, you will have some kind of difficult situations, but you can look at them as difficult situations, or you can start getting curious. You can start getting into the state of curiosity to look for new ways of solving these problems. You can put your detective hat on, and this is what the most successful people in the world do. They solve people's problems very, very effectively. Okay. So whenever things happen, if there's a problem, know that there is always a solution. And you can either stay in problem mode or be in solution mode. Your choice. Okay. The second thing I want to really look at is this definition of trash talk. It's an insulting or a boastful speech or a comment intended to demoralize, intimidate, or humiliate someone. Okay. So demoralize, intimidate, or humiliate, right? These are low vibe things. And when you attempt to do that, what you put out, you get back. And often what you're putting out is actually a direct reflection of you and a direct reflection of something happening inside of you. So when you put out negative things about other people, it's like airing your dirty laundry. Other people see it, other people know it, other people can vibe it, and it's not benefiting them. And I know I don't want to be around people that don't lift my spirits. I don't have the time, I don't have the desire, I don't have the energy. Zero desire. And I know a lot of other people in my world feel the same. If you want to spend time around people that lower your energetic vibration, that make you feel miserable, that make you feel sad, go ahead. I suspect that's not going to help you. So the opposite is high vibe, right? When you use the word high vibe, when people say high vibe, it's referring to something positive. It's another way to describe something operating at a high energetic frequency. Okay. Everything is energy. This water is energy. The light that's in front of me is energy. There is energy in sound. There is energy in my heart and in my energetic vibration. Everything has a frequency. And the higher the frequency, right? The higher this energetic vibration is, this frequency is, okay, on the high end of the scale, you're closer to things like unconditional love, to acceptance, to bliss, to joy. These are some of the highest frequency states of being, to wholeness, to oneness, to God. Those things vibrate at very high frequencies. Now, lower frequencies are closer to fear, insecurity, to hate. And when you're at these low vibe frequencies, right? They feel like you get to a standstill, and sometimes people might be fueled by these low vibe things, and they say, "Oh, well, I'm going to use this as fuel to move forward." it's still motivated by a really, really negative thing. And there's still going to be an energetic undertone of what you're running away from. And your unconscious mind can only focus on one thing at a time. And you can either focus on what's working or not, but it's going to delete what it's not noticing. So energetics frequencies have been studied for a really long time, and they've been expressed in so many different ways. However, essentially, the point is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Treat others as you want to be treated. And in the past, like I said, we've all done things that we haven't been proud of. That doesn't mean bring those moments into our present and dwell on them. That means let them go. Learn your lessons so you can live in your best and most integrity filled self now and make better choices in your future. So, when it comes to trash talk, I want you to really look at it from both perspectives, okay? From being trash talked about and doing the trash talking. When it comes to trash talking, like I said, none of us is holy. We've talked about someone, we've been talked about, and we all make choices. And sometimes we get hurt, and sometimes we hurt other people. However, that doesn't mean you continue going to spread negativity. Okay. Just because something happened that didn't work, that doesn't mean you keep adding fuel to the fire. You don't add gasoline and spread it around and make it bigger, because that doesn't turn into a constructive situation. On the flip side, it also doesn't mean you ignore your feelings and sweep them under a rug and get into what we call a state of toxic positivity. So there's a term called toxic positivity where oh, yep, everything's great, everything's positive, everything's just peachy. You're a person, you're a human being. You must feel all emotions. So if you're legitimately feeling sad, if you're feeling upset, if you're feeling angry, great, express it. However, express it in a healthy way. And there is a certain period of time, it's usually 45 to 90 seconds, where you can and should legitimately allow yourself to feel things like anger and rage and being pissed off. But after that, your brain, if you keep feeling that over and over and over again, you're literally replaying that story and mentally going there over and over and over again. It's like you have something on repeat, when you see a short reel and it just keeps repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. If you repeat things over and over and over and over and over again, you're going to feel those same feelings over and over and over and over and over again. And that's not helping you. Okay. So you're actually almost forcing those feelings to come. So your job is stop focusing on what isn't working, right? Allow yourself to feel it. If you want to feel those feelings for a little bit longer, announce it to the world and say, I've decided that for the next 2 hours, for the next day or two, I'm going to be in this bad mood. Let me feel my feelings. Don't try to change them. There will have to be a point where they have to change, and it's going to be actually really hard to stay in that place for an extended period of time, because you're a human and you should have a rainbow of emotions. They go up, they go down. So this really is where a really beautiful solution, whether you have done something and feel certain things about it or whether other people have done it to you, realize you should allow yourself to feel what you need to feel and then move on. You've got to change it. Because if you keep doing that, you're just spreading negativity. You're spreading seeds of negativity all over the planet. And I can guarantee you there's already enough of that out there. You do not need to add fuel to the fire. Another consideration, another thing that's really important, and I recognize this and really learned about it by doing the process of timeline therapy. I do it myself as a client, and then I also work with other clients, right? I work with other practitioners, and I do this process. It's a process where you can allow yourself to let go of the negative impact of negative emotions and limiting decisions that you've made at some point in your life. Okay. And it's not that these situations didn't happen again, but what you do is you literally let go of the emotional charge. And we're not going to go through the process here because it's not ecological. However, the basic premise is that You need to learn something. And there's a very specific way in this process that you learn what you need to learn so you can let go of whatever it is you're letting go, whether it's an emotion or a limiting decision. And so when you learn things, right? When you obtain learnings about things that have gone wrong in your life, that is where you can begin to let things go. And so, really starting to look at all of these obstacles or challenges in your life as opportunities and learning the lessons that you need to learn, right? You're not there to teach everyone else lessons. That could be a part of your journey, but the point in you letting it go is you learning the lessons you need to learn. And when you do, you will be able to let it go. And you can do this on your own, or you can seek help, right? If this is something you want to talk to me or my team about, then I'm happy to have a conversation about how we can help you do this. But what really is key is letting it go and learning your lessons. Okay. Otherwise, it's just if you keep those heavy feelings, it's like pouring grease down the drain and it will get clogged and sluggish at some point in time. It's really heavy what you're putting out in the universe. It doesn't help you and it doesn't help others. So, third thing I want to really point out is when there's this aspect, when trash talk is happening, there is always a victim. Okay. There's always a victim, whether you're doing the trash talking or the trash talking is done about you and you take it personally. Okay. So it's not that other people aren't going to do that. It's if you take it personally. That's the problem. So when you take it personally and you start blaming or you start feeling that and you start feeling all these things, you get into victim mode. It's really critical. So here are some abundant ways um, to to turn these obstacles into opportunities and get yourself out of victim mode so you can truly be a hero in your own journey. Own your mistakes. Own your mistakes. Bottom line, don't blame, just own it. Apologize where appropriate. Forgive. You don't have to forget, and you don't need to dwell on it. Just move on. Forgiveness is about letting go completely cutting the cord, not making anything conditional. Just let it go. Let go and let God. Stop giving it energy. Okay, so stop thinking about it, stop spending time on it. There's so much more that you can focus on than this item. Learn what you need to learn. Again, whether you're on either side. And if someone else, if you really sense this hostility coming from someone else, can you send them love? Right? This is really about taking the high road. Send them love. I learned this strategy from Sandy Gallagher, Bob Proctor's business partner. And she talked about a 3-part gratitude practice that Bob gave her. So first part is write 10 things you're grateful for. Second thing is ask for guidance. Yeah, ask for guidance. Third part is send love to 3 people that are driving you crazy, that are not being constructive in your life. And when she first started this, she's like, oh, it was so hard. And she's like, I'd send love daggers to people. I tried so hard. It was difficult. However, the more she practiced, the better it got. Send people love. This is really about taking the high road. And this is an elevated state of consciousness. That's going to put good things into the world. So own your mistakes, apologize, forgive, stop giving it energy, learn what you need to learn, and send people love. Do these things, and you will start turning this toxic, this negative thing into something beautiful, constructive, and useful. You cannot change the past. You must live in the present and know where you're going in your future. Ultimately, all that matters is now. All that matters is now. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has given you a different perspective on trash talk and given you some really concrete and tangible solutions that you can actually use to walk away and turn some of these situations that have happened to you in your life or that might be happening to you now into really constructive opportunities for you. Okay. The key is to actually do something about it, right? Insight without action is worthless. So make sure to do something about it. And if you want to start finding new ways, finding better ways to activate your abundance and really stop procrastinating your life away. Stop putting off the most important things. Let me know. We are launching a brand new series of masterclasses starting in May, and we'll be holding them throughout the month of May, all summer, and continuing on. But if you want to be first on the list, I am going to reveal 9 powerful steps that you can use to stop procrastinating your life away and double your income, double your satisfaction, double your impact in 9 months or less. Okay. So if that's something that's of interest to you, let me know in the chat or send me a private message, and I will make sure that you are first to know as soon as registration opens. So you have yourself a beautiful day. I will see you guys again next week with another beautiful topic for our lunch and learn. So have a